More than 4 billion years ago, Earth was a world that should not have allowed life to exist. The sky was toxic, thick with volcanic gases. Heavy clouds blocked the sun. The oceans were dark, acidic, restless. By every modern definition, this was a dead planet. And yet, that is where the story of life may have begun. Not in sunlight, not in calm waters, not in gentle conditions, but far below the surface, in total darkness, under immense pressure, on the ocean floor of the ancient Earth. Tonight, we descend into that hidden world, a realm of heat, of chemistry, of possibility. We sink beneath the surface of the primordial ocean. Above us, storms, volcanoes, chaos. Below us, silence. Light fades quickly. Blue dissolves into black. The water grows colder, heavier, denser. With every meter downward, pressure builds. Miles beneath the surface, the sun no longer exists. There is no day, no night, only darkness. And then, from the blackness, something emerges. Towering structures rise from the seafloor, mineral chimneys, jagged, ancient, hydrothermal vents. Built not by life, but by the planet itself. Seawater seeps deep into fractured rock, heated by molten stone, enriched with hydrogen, methane, iron, and sulfur. Then it erupts back into the ocean, violently, relentlessly. This energy does not come from the sun. It comes from Earth's interior, a remnant of the planet's violent birth. Here, the seafloor is not dead. It moves, it circulates, it transforms. Around these vents, extremes collide. Superheated water meets freezing ocean. Alkaline fluids crash into acidic seas. Hot meets cold. Order meets chaos. Minerals dissolve, then crystallize, again and again and again. Black and white plumes billow outward, like underwater storms. Stone grows, fractures, collapses, then grows again. This is not destruction, it is construction, a planetary engine of chemistry running continuously for millions of years. Within the porous walls of these chimneys, tiny chambers form, microscopic cavities sheltered from the vast ocean outside. Inside them, molecules are trapped, concentrated, forced to interact, again and again and again. Carbon binds with hydrogen, nitrogen enters the mix, sulfur reshapes reactions, heat accelerates chemistry, pressure stabilizes it. Minerals guide reactions along specific paths. In this environment, chemistry is no longer random. It becomes organized, directed, persistent. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, complex molecules begin to appear. Amino acids form, simple lipids assemble, carbon chains grow longer, more intricate. There are no cells yet, no DNA, no metabolism as we know it, but something crucial has begun. A system that feeds on energy and uses it to build complexity. When one reaction ends, another begins. When one molecule breaks, another replaces it. This chemistry does not fade away. It continues. Time passes. Thousands of years, then millions. Within the vent walls, chemistry experiments endlessly. Most reactions fail, most systems collapse, but some persist. Some molecules begin to replicate, imperfectly, with variation. Errors appear,
differences accumulate. Some combinations last longer, some reactions prove more stable. Selection begins. Not biological selection, chemical selection. What persists remains. What does not disappears. Gradually, boundaries form. Simple membranes wrap around clusters of reactions. Inside, chemistry continues. Outside, the ocean presses in. Energy flows across these boundaries, driven by chemical gradients, differences in temperature, in acidity, in charge. These are not yet cells, but they are no longer just chemistry. They are protocells, systems with an inside and an outside, with structure, with continuity, a bridge between non-life and life. Crucially, none of this depends on sunlight. These early systems draw energy from chemical reactions alone, a process known as chemosynthesis.
Even today, modern hydrothermal vents support entire ecosystems built on the same principle. Life thriving in absolute darkness, living echoes of Earth's earliest past. And yet, for most of its existence, life on Earth has lived like this: hidden, microscopic, invisible. For nearly 3 billion years after its origin, the planet was ruled not by animals or plants, but by single cells, descendants of those first chemical systems born in darkness. They shaped the atmosphere, they altered the oceans, they changed the chemistry of the entire world, all without sunlight, all without awareness. Life learned how to survive long before it learned how to see. The ocean floor offered something rare: stability, shielded from meteor impacts, protected from ultraviolet radiation, insulated from surface chaos. Here, chemistry had time to repeat, time to fail, time to improve. Chemical gradients acted like engines. Protons flowed from high concentration to low. Electrons moved from donor to acceptor. Energy was released, not as fire, but as opportunity. This was metabolism in its most primitive form. Even today, your own cells generate energy using proton gradients across membranes. The same principle, the same physics, a continuity stretching back over 4 billion years. As protocells grew more complex, their chemistry began to specialize. Certain reactions stabilized, certain pathways became favored. Information began to matter, not as language, but as structure. Molecules that preserved successful reactions were more likely to persist. Patterns emerged. Chemical memory formed. The past began to shape the future. At some point, molecules capable of storing information gained an advantage. Chains that could be copied, sequences that could be inherited, the precursors to RNA. A quiet revolution. Because once information could be passed on, evolution truly began. Not yet biological evolution, but something close. A universe that remembered what worked before. Still, this process was fragile. Most experiments failed. Most systems collapsed. Life was not inevitable everywhere, but somewhere, in one vent, in one chamber, conditions aligned just long enough. Stability met energy, containment met chemistry, and a system crossed a threshold it could not return from. From that moment on, the planet was no longer sterile. Life existed, even if only as chemistry that refused to stop. Over time, these systems spread, carried by currents, sheltered in cracks and pores. Some remained deep, others ventured upward. Eventually, sunlight entered the story, not as the beginning, but as an addition. This changes how we understand life itself.
Life does not require sunlight. It does not require oxygen. It does not require calm. It requires energy gradients, chemistry, and time. That is all. And if life could emerge here, in darkness, under pressure, without air, then how rare can life truly be? Across the universe, water is common. Heat is common. Chemical gradients are everywhere. On icy moons beneath frozen crusts, on ocean worlds orbiting distant stars. The conditions that gave rise to life on Earth may not be unique at all. Perhaps the universe is not silent. Perhaps it is simply young, or distant, or speaking in forms we have yet to recognize. When we search for life beyond Earth, we are not just searching for organisms. We are searching for chemistry that learned how to persist, for matter that discovered how to resist entropy just enough to continue. In that sense, life is not a miracle. It is a process, slow, relentless, unimpressed with difficulty. The hydrothermal vents remind us of something humbling. We did not arise from perfection. We arose from imbalance, from instability, from a planet that never stopped changing. Every heartbeat in your chest, every thought in your mind, every cell dividing in silence, all part of a story that began without intention, in darkness, under pressure, at the bottom of an ancient sea. And perhaps one day, when we find life elsewhere in the universe, it will not greet us in sunlight. It may greet us instead in the dark, near heat, where chemistry never sleeps, because that is where life learned its first lesson: how to endure.